What's up, guys? In the to keep with the spirit of Corey's terrible jokes over the last four episodes.
Whoa,
wow.
whoa.
Such shade.
Wow, where's the mute button? Hold on, let me find the mute button for Kevin. Okay.
I have another terrible joke.
Hey.
What do you call a witch who is also a dinosaur?
I don't know.
A Tyrannosaurus Hex.
Yeah, that fits.
I mean, it works.
Told you.
The hex is popular.
Actually, a couple of Corey's were way better than that.
No, you tell us how you really feel. Don't hold back. That's fine.
I just did.
Got thick skin here, folks. It's fine. It's fine.
Your rock joke was bad, but the rest of them were pretty good.
It's fine. Well, welcome back, everyone, to another rousing edition of the Real Heroes Show. Corey, Nick, and Kevin here, and in today's episode, we are going to work through our feelings and process all of our own grief as we go through the events of episode 8 of WandaVision, which seems to be the penultimate episode of this series. It's basically Wanda Maximoff, this is your life. And we're gonna go through all the spoilers, all the recontextualization of her character within the MCU, and our thoughts as to whether or not we liked it, and if we think it's going in the right direction. So, again, big time spoiler warning. If you have not seen episode 8, please go over to Disney Plus and watch it, and come back to see our video, because I really don't want to ruin any of this stuff for you. So, Nick, out of 10, go.
I'm gonna give it a 9.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Okay.
I'm gonna give it a 9 as well, because
Yeah.
I thought it was the best episode they had done so far.
Yeah.
Kevin, I think you're gonna be the contrarian here this week.
Yep.
Yeah, I give him this one like a 7.
7.
Oh wow, that low. Okay. All right.
Reminds me of the Joker in The Dark Knight when he tells the guy how many of his friends he's
Friends
killed.
killed.
It's like 7.
7.
Okay, well, Kevin, in that case, let's start with you. I feel like you're gonna have maybe some dislikes, so let us have it.
I'll start off by saying that this episode definitely has some super badass moments. It really does. And it really explains a lot. My problem with it mostly is in how they explain it, because it feels very spoon-fed, and I don't like this super convenient way of just letting us know what happened. Like it just is like, 7 episodes of build up and questions and mystery and all this kind of stuff, and then somebody just pulls back the curtain and goes, haha, this is what's been happening. I don't like that delivery method at all, because it just feels like, hey, because you guys were too stupid to figure this out on your own, we're just going to go ahead and show you this is actually what was going on. So I didn't like that delivery method at all. And I also, like I mentioned before, I feel like there were some missed opportunities here in terms of how you can introduce certain things to the MCU. And it's not to say that they are not going to, because obviously there's still an episode to go, hopefully a longer one.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like there's so much that we haven't gotten that we really wanted to see, and not just the 3 of us, like pretty much the entire internet.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
We kind of all expected at some point, and we might still expected to see Mephisto. Her brilliant aerospace engineer friend, that hasn't panned out yet. The big tease from Elizabeth Olsen, we haven't seen that yet, and I assume that'll be next episode
For the finale.
Yeah. There's so much, that I just feel like hasn't happened that I wanted to happen. But for the most part, it was just in that delivery of, just giving it all to me at one time. I just didn't like that at all. Having said that, though, where they're taking her character is phenomenal. How they're building up her powers is phenomenal. and Catherine Hahn's performance is just fucking top notch.
Yeah, she was outstanding in this episode.
She's
what a casting!
Killed it. Yeah,
Holy
for
shit.
sure. It's
Perfect.
It's spot on.
Perfect
And,
role. Yeah.
You know, her backstory that you get to see in this episode, fantastic.
Yeah.
It's necessarily not what we saw from the comics, you know,
Right.
but her character so far in this show hasn't been much like the character from the comics at all, to be honest.
Yeah.
So that's kind of to be expected, but yeah, I do like a lot of what they did. I just don't necessarily like how they did it.
Okay, fair enough. Nick, let's move to you. I know you got a lot, so try to contain yourself here, and you know, let's keep it to like 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah, notes on notes on notes here. You know, I will say this as far as like, I mean, I could definitely agree with what Kevin said. You know, I think for Agatha's character, you know, we had said, I think it was the last episode where I hope that she had the Salem, Massachusetts backstory, which before we recorded, I when I watched the episode for the first time, I was so hyped. I threw my remote down and said, "Let's go," because you know, it was just so cool to actually see. Yes, I'm a big nerd and I don't give a shit. So
we assume that's why you're all here, by the way.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, if you're not watching this show for that reason, then I don't know. Maybe it's because we're all handsome. Who knows? But I have a lot of questions in that regard. Not to the handsomeness, but to the backstory of Agatha.
How did they get so handsome?
I know. It's chaos magic.
Hey, everyone, come see how good I look.
Yeah.
I have many leather-bound books.
But yeah, Catherine Hahn's performance was outstanding. You know, she just absolutely kills it. And it's like she gets this whole episode to shine, whereas in the previous episode she was more so of like a supporting character to Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany. The effects are just, it's crazy. Like we said it before, this is a TV show, essentially. Yeah. This TV show has better effects than 99% of other shows out there, I feel like. And it's not that
some movies too.
Yeah, even in some movies, it's like, man, I just forget.
Starting to understand, you know, because I think we spoke early on in maybe episode 2 or 3 about the VFX budget and how it had actually blown away some movie budgets. Yeah. And we were like, where did that money go? Well, it's kind of obvious where that money went now.
Especially in this episode. Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like the whole, I guess, canonizing of the phrase or the wording of the Scarlet Witch, right? At the very end, I got chills.
Finally,
you know, and I was like, "Oh my god!" Thankfully, we're getting something along these lines, and you know, I guess we could talk a little bit later about the whole meaning behind that and mythos and theories, but yeah, just I love the backstory filled in from Age of Ultron as well, right? We got to see the Stark missile. We know where that commercial came from with the toaster beeping, and we see it blinking on the Stark missile. So the sitcoms, like, you know, there were a few things that I think we were right about, which is, you know, nice to see. There are some things that we were completely wrong about too, which happens. And I was like, oh, I guess that fly isn't Nightmare because she just turned it into a bird, then fed it to the rabbit. Which I was like, and I don't know, again, like she's like, oh, what's that? Like she's speaking or she's talking to the rabbit.
Something about the damn rabbit.
Yeah, so
I'm still kind of expecting that to be her son, Nick
Scratch. Yeah. So we'll see, but again, I kind of like that the humor, the emotion, I think Liz Olsen also gave us a really good performance emotionally.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
oh my god.
You know,
they made her cry like 3 or 4 different times during this episode.
Yeah.
Horrible.
They made Agatha cry once.
Just one little single tear.
But
the humorous.
But that was a really touching scene.
It was,
honestly, that we never got to see before.
Yep.
And you know, showing how it actually affected Agatha at the same time, that was a nice touch. I like that.
The last thing I'll say is I really like this line that Vision said in that scene. He said, "But what is grief if not love persevering?" I'm like, that is probably one of the best quotes and true that I've ever heard. So very relatable, but I'd say that covers everything.
A bunch of college girls are about to get that tattooed on like their inner hip pretty soon.
It'll all be in kanji though.
Right, that's right. Yeah. So that's it for you, Nick. Is it my turn?
Yeah.
All right,
go for it.
Okay, I wrote down a lot of little quick things because I figured you guys were going to touch on the main points. To your credit, Kevin, I hate the spoon feeding. I'm right there with you on the spoon feeding. Again, it's the same thing we talked about back in, I think it was episode 4, which is where all the Monica Rambeau stuff happened. Where unfortunately the show is made for the masses and they assume that we're all idiots and they have to spoon feed it to us, or else it's, they're not playing by the Marvel rules, which it sucks, but it's the way things are. I think it's just something we have to deal with. But stuff that I enjoyed. I love that they were in Salem, but they twisted the witch trial concept, and she wasn't a witch on trial from normal people. She was a witch on trial from her own, which I thought was a nice little flip of the script. When Wanda goes to see Vision's body, which she doesn't steal it, Hayward is full of shit, which we call the show. Little liar, asshole. She does her magic towards Vision's head, and she says, "I don't feel you," which is a callback to the last thing that Vision ever says to her in Infinity War, which is, "I just feel you," before he dies, which I thought was really, really nice. George Lucas, you're seeing his poetry, it rhymes. Wanda is ridiculously strong and has zero training whatsoever, which we found out in this episode. Because Agatha's like, how are you doing this stuff? Who are you? What the hell is going on with you? Imagine if Wanda had like an ounce of training and then fought Thanos. She'd have killed him. It would have been done. He wouldn't have stood a chance. So
Iron Man would still be alive.
Really interesting. I love the grief, if not love, persevering quote. I also love in the beginning of the episode when Agatha tells Wanda, "You'd rather fall apart than face your truth." Yeah, which is it's like a line. 7 stages type thing where it's like just the denial of it and all is. I thought that was really cool. The scene where she builds everything and then her and Vision kiss, and then she's behind them and she's on the set clapping. Earlier in the show, Vision, when he's talking about naming Billy after William Shakespeare, he pulls out the quote about the world's a stage and it's many players or whatever. And then she ends up on a stage under the brightest lights because she's an Avenger, and at the same time she's all alone. I thought that was just like some really beautiful visual storytelling. When she goes to the house before it's built and it's just the foundation, there are 3 little points where if you kind of draw across the points, it makes an M, and then she builds the house around it, which I could be reaching, but it kind of feels like a House of M reference.
It could be,
He basically builds the House of M at that point. There's no "Please stand by" on the credits when it ends. It's just a flat screen, which I thought was interesting because this feels kind of like part 1 of a 2-part story. The finale is the tie-in to that. And also, as I said earlier in this show, a couple episodes back, New Jersey is a shithole. And I was proven correct. When she first rolls up to Westview, it looks like an episode of The Leftovers from HBO, where everything is just a total mess. So,
which is crazy because the town is so quaint and adorable, and it's like it's almost idyllic. And then you look at all the faces of the people, and they're all
miserable.
Yeah.
Phil was putting up a piano lessons thing, which is a callback to the earlier episode when Vision has the flat piano. Mrs. Hart is alone at lunch or whatever, which makes me think that maybe her husband died and Wanda manifested him back for the sitcom stuff. Everybody just looks like they're having a terrible time there. And,
gloominess.
Mailman's delivering pizza.
Just a lot of really cool stuff. But that's everything I had. A lot of fun little things. There's more to talk about. Like White Vision. Let's get
White
into
Vision
that.
is badass. I'll give you that. Right.
Yeah, I mean that's a big plus for. I mean, obviously
not really part of the show. It's a mid-credit scene, but
yeah.
like that's a really fascinating thing that, you know,
That's huge, man.
kind of
Like,
Hayward's plan all along. Maybe.
did you guys ever?
That's one thing that we were right about. We you know, kind of touched on the fact that we thought Hayward was just trying to bring Vision back online, maybe 2 or 3 episodes back. So that's 100% accurate. And man, I have a a big theory that I guess I need to save for the next episode.
You do.
Stay tuned later this week. Subscribe.
Damn. That mid-credit scene, it raises some questions.
Absolutely. I mean, it's something that I never expected or thought we would see, right? From the comics. I mean, was it the Vision Quest comic series?
Yeah, from the West Coast Avengers.
Yeah, like that's awesome. Yeah, we'll talk theory-wise about it, but man, I did you guys hear like this almost like a Avengers-esque kind of like theme behind it?
When they walk right through the tent.
Yeah, and I'm like, it almost, because I was like, oh, the Avengers theme. This is gonna be like a good guy or like. And again, I thought this is gonna be like, we're sending in these people that are quote unquote the Fantastic Four. Nope.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
You know, like
Stop
it's like
doing that to yourselves.
Fucking expectations just shot down.
Turn your brains off, you assholes.
Because they literally said
Stop
the team
man.
is ready to launch.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, the team, great.
I was like,
son of a bitch.
Team of 4, you say, or 5? Nope, just kidding. We got one guy.
The Sinister Six.
Thing. Yeah, right. No, but it's. Did you ever play? There was an arcade game. It was an Avengers arcade game where you could play as Hawkeye, Iron Man, Captain America, and Vision. But it was this white Vision.
Oh, cool.
Actually, and yeah, it. I mean, was it from the 80s or something like that? So I'll have to try and find it. But yeah, like that's the first time I ever found out or knew who Vision was from that arcade game. I obviously knew who Cap, Hawkeye, Iron Man was, but I never knew who Vision was until then. But that was the first iteration that I knew of him that existed.
Yeah.
So for me, it was the arcade game, and then the comics, and now this episode of WandaVision. Or it's just, man, he looks. Yeah. He almost looks a little bit like Dr. Manhattan. I got this vibe from him. Like it's not super bluish, but it's not like a pale white either.
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of like a steely grayish white kind of thing.
Yeah. Almost like a, obviously not translucent, but
Asp.
with an asp. The boys, baby.
That show has changed that word for me.
Forever. Yeah. Sorry, translucent.
Oh my God.
By the way, super hyped that they're filming the next season right now.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic. So stay tuned.
Yep. So. Yeah, what a mid-credit scene that was.
Yeah, and then as soon as you see Vision's White Vision or whatever they're calling him, his face light up, and then it goes to the credits. There's like a big, like a concert bass drum hit, and it's just like oh shit, what's gonna happen now? And we only have to wait 1 week, which normally with this Marvel stuff, it's like you see something like that, and then you have to wait like 6 months for the next movie. Not anymore. The times they are changing, fellas. So. I have many questions about White Vision, but we'll probably find out like next week. So that's great.
Yeah, I have many questions too about this whole idea of the Scarlet Witch kind of being an energy force or a being that kind of gets reborn or something.
Yeah.
We see the silhouette of the Scarlet Witch when she touches the Mind Stone, and I'm kind of curious if they're going to delve a little bit deeper into that, because that part was really cool. I like that a lot.
Very.
My huge question on that is, how did that all happen in such a short period of time that on the two Sokovian dudes video feed, it's just like a blip, and then she's from standing to collapsed, and they see none of it. Like that's it's very interesting. There's lots
cool.
to think about.
A cool scene for sure.
I think there's a callback to that, but I'll save that for the next video.
For the theory video. Dang. All right. Well, let's get out of here so we can go record that. Guys, if you like this episode, if you didn't like this episode, please leave us a comment below. Let us know what you thought about it. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, turn on notifications so that way you never miss another one. We will be coming back later this week with our sad final prediction video for WandaVision. We got the season finale coming up next week or this week, I guess, depending on when you watch this video. Very excited / sad about that. And then after that, we'll be rolling into Falcon and the Winter Soldier and the Snyder Cut, which is like 2 weeks after that's done. So this show never stops because all of the nerd shows in 2021 seem to never stop. So until next time, we'll see you guys in the next video.